Albany, New York, 1850. The knock at Dr. Elkins' door came at midnight. He didn't ask questions. He grabbed his bag. Freedom seekers needed a doctor who wouldn't turn them in. It was in this exact moment, a time of unimaginable adversity, that Thomas Elkins, a foundational Black American man with an inventor's mind and a dentist's touch, quietly reshaped history in ways so simple yet so profound that his name is barely whispered through the annals of time. The Underground Railroad was not just a network of safe houses, it was a lifeline, and Elkins was one of its solid guardians. By day, he was a respected dentist and surgeon, treating Albany's Black community with skills rare for any man of his time. By night, he mended wounds, forged freedom papers, and hid runaways beneath the floorboards of his office. Tonight, the fugitive was a woman named Hester, her ankle twist from a fall, her body shaking with exhaustion. Elkins worked swiftly, setting the bone, wrapping the wound. He handed her a vial of medicine. "You'll be in Canada by week's end," he promised. Hester grabbed his hand. "God bless you, doctor." Elkins only nodded. God's blessing was scarce for men like him, but he didn't need blessings. He needed ingenuity, and that he had in abundance. In the heart of New York City, on October 4th, 1818, a child was born whose name would one day resonate quietly in the undercurrent of American innovation. Thomas Elkins, a foundational Black American man, grew up in America where his talent and brilliance should have been erased by the weight of institutional racism. But instead, his ingenuity cut through the fog of oppression. Elkins was more than just an inventor, dentist, and doctor. He was a symbol of resistance, a reminder that Black genius had always existed, even when society tried to deny it. As a boy, he seen Black men dragged off the street, accused of being runaway slaves. He heard the sermons condemning abolitionists as troublemakers, and he vowed to be more than a survivor. He would be a healer. Apprenticed to a local physician, Elkins mastered anatomy, dentistry, and pharmacy. By his 20s, he was one of the few foundational Black American men in the North licensed to practice medicine. But a degree couldn't shield him from disdain. "You expect me to let a Negro examine my wife?" a white merchant once sneered. Elkins kept his voice steady. "May God grant her good health without my help." He turned his focus to those who needed him most. The Black families denied care elsewhere. His office became a sanctuary. His hands were instruments of both science and defiance. Elkins wasn't just another man trying to carve out a living. He was born into a world where foundational Black Americans, especially in the North, were still fighting for basic freedoms. Growing up, he was shaped by the whispers of the abolitionists, the rising tides of revolts against slavery, and the quiet activism of those who understood that true freedom comes from dismantling systems of oppression. Elkins, with his education and skills, saw his purpose in this world. Elkins was more than a mere dentist and doctor. He was an inventor at a time when such a thing seemed nearly impossible for a Black man. When Elkins patented the first toilet in 1882, He did more than create a more functional way of getting rid of human waste. He provided a solution to the sanitation problems plaguing American society. In an era where plumbing was still not fully developed, Elkins' work was revolutionary. But it wasn't just the toilet. He designed a refrigeration device, a small but important contribution to the mechanism of domestic work. His inventions, though significant, were held back by bias in the patent office and the rampant racism of the time. A black inventor, especially one with no societal status or fame, struggled to get the recognition he deserved. One can imagine Elkins' frustration as he walked into patent offices, his hope weighed down by an invisible ceiling. "You've got a good idea, Elkins, but..." The clerk voice trailed off uncomfortably at the sight of a foundational black American man in such a position of authority. "It's not that simple," he continued, scribbling something dismissively on his pad. Thomas Elkins stood firm, quietly determined, knowing that the road to recognition would be paved by his persistence. Elkins wasn't trying to invent a new machine for the sake of invention. He was fixing the very core of everyday life. The toilet, for example, wasn't just a convenience. It was a matter of hygiene and public health. With diseases like cholera and dysentery running rapid due to inadequate sanitation systems. Elkins' invention addressed the public health crisis. His refrigeration device, though simple by today's standards, changed how families preserve food, reducing waste and increasing safety. Imagine Elkins sitting at his office, sketching designs, his hands steady, his mind sharp, as he imagined how his inventions would change the lives of families across the country. He wasn't just a technical genius, he was a practical problem solver, deeply concerned with improving the quality of life for everyday people. His inventions made homes cleaner, safer, and more efficient, an unsung hero in the domestic spaces of America. Thomas Elkins died quietly on August 10th, 1900 in Albany, New York. His name barely whispered in the annals of history, but his legacy, it's alive in every invention that changed daily life. In every toilet that improved sanitation, in every refrigerator that preserved food, in every washing machine that made a home cleaner and easier to maintain. The history of foundational black American inventions is full of stories like Elkins, whose names were forgotten, whose contributions were buried, and whose brilliance was ignored. But Thomas Elkins, like so many others, was a pioneer who revolutionized everyday life through his inventions and his medical practice. His legacy stands as a testament to what can be achieved against overwhelming odds. A reminder that while history may try to erase foundational black American geniuses, it cannot fully bury it. The ingenuity of people like Thomas Elkins still resonates today, not in the fame they were denied, but in the everyday objects they created to make life better for all us. The foundational black American family love our brother and our ancestor, Thomas Elkins. If you made it to the end, you know one thing. FBA Stoic appreciate your patience. Yes, the documentary is coming through on the FBA lineage, coming from my family tree. Peace, foundational black American family. I'ma catch y'all in the next one.